awesome comic book live stream. I do apologize, guys. I haven't done a proper comic book live stream for a very long time. I've been really busy with uni. I do apologize. I haven't got a proper video up till tonight, as I've been really swamped with uni work. Anyway, guys, we have some really cool books to talk about tonight on the stream, as well as a spellbook Jace from Magic the Gathering to go through the cards on that. I have opened it. I did film a video for it, but it was too short, so we'll do it in this video. So starting off, guys, with our Marvel books. First book we have is Web of Venom. So obviously this is a play on Vietnam, obviously suggesting that the symbiote was involved in the Vietnam War at some point. It's really interesting what they're doing with Venom right now, obviously with the movie coming up, and being that this is the character's 30th anniversary. There is so much Venom going on. Wasn't a huge fan particularly of this one shot over obviously the miniseries that has started this week. Not this week. Oh, I picked up the issue this week. I'm not sure if it started this week. But it's still interesting that, of course, these do feature Eddie and the symbiote. This and First Host do... well, this one actually doesn't feature Eddie, but it's interesting to see the White Nick Fury, and we get to see Wolverine as well. So we get to see some connection between the two characters, particularly interesting. I will need to go back and reread this one. It's a nice concept, but obviously I didn't like it as much as the next book we have, which is Venom First Host. Now, Venom First Host for me, this book was really, really cool. So it was Costa and Bagley, who you might remember were the creative team behind the original Lethal Protector series, which in my opinion is one of the best Venom stories. I love the way Mark Bagley draws Venom and Carnage, and this book is really, really cool. I'm very, very excited to see where this goes. It ties in really well with the ongoing Venom series, talking about the cosmic origins of the symbiote and how, or the Clintar, whatever you prefer, and how it, is involved in the direct history of the Marvel Universe itself. I think it's pretty cool, and it's really cool to be able to see these two together as well. And of course, if you guys haven't read Lethal Protector, I really do hope you guys go watch it, go read it before the movie comes out. And I hate to say it, even if the movie's bad, I hope that won't discourage you from going and reading Lethal Protector, because it's really cool. And you might want to check out these guys' run on the last run of the Venom series, the Venom Ongoing, which was really, really good. It was also called Lethal Protector as well. But it involved Kraven as well, which was pretty cool. So definitely recommend you guys go check this out. But yeah, this book was pretty freaking cool and had a pretty interesting cliffhanger, I want to say. And yes, guys, I know this next book has been out for a while, but I haven't had the chance to pick it up for a while. It is Venom number 5. And obviously, it is not spoiler it because it's right on the cover. Venom now has wings. I don't know, whilst that is really cool, I feel like it's kind of redundant. But one thing I got to show you guys, I don't really open books up much, but is this amazing double-page spread of Eddie, the symbiote, of course, and Miles with Eddie with his Venom, with those epic wings that he's inherited from Null, which of course is the god of symbiotes, which they're talking about in this run. This run is absolutely phenomenal. I definitely recommend that you guys go check this out if you haven't already. I'm not just saying that as a Venom fan, I'm saying that as a fan of Marvel Comics in general, because of how they're actually tying the symbiote into the origin of the Marvel Universe as a whole. So incredibly good book, and you guys definitely need to check this out. Moving on to DC, guys, our first book, of course, is issue number 25 of Batgirl. It is a double-sized issue because she finally hit her 25 issues. Of course, that was obviously going to happen. This actually is, I think, pretty much a one-shot because it is a double-sized issue. Wasn't really too excited with it, considering though, one thing that was pretty cool was getting to see Dick Grayson and Barbara back together. They're really teasing that relationship. Obviously, seeing them together is pretty freaking sweet. As of course, Batgirl was very heavily involved in the recent Nightwing arc that has finished. And of course, what's cool about this is there are a bunch of little stories. But obviously for me, the first story is the best one because of how heavily it features Dick Grayson. So, nice little story, nice teasing of their relationship. And of course, at the end of their little story, it does have a to be the end, but with a question mark, or is it to be continued? I can't remember from my head. Unfortunately, guys, I do apologize. Yeah. to be continued, question mark. So they are hinting at the possibility of them getting back together, which would be pretty freaking exciting, to be honest. Next up, of course, we have issue 26 of Batgirl. So yeah, you can tell it's been basically a month since I've been, because we have 2 issues of Batgirl. So this book saw the return of Grotesque, which is a character we haven't seen for a while. The last time we saw him was in the Gail Simone run. Of course, again, phenomenal Batgirl run. If you haven't read it, go read it. It's interesting to see the 2 characters interact with each other. And this, of course, is the start of a new storyline called The Act of Crime, which will see us, at least in issue 27 of Batgirl, seeing Barbara receive a costume redesign. Obviously, I think they feel like... they obviously feel like... it's time for a costume change. And this issue does end on a bit of a cliffhanger, so I'm not going to show it to you guys. I was hoping that the reveal of her new costume is going to be in here, and interview one of the guys who designed it. But obviously not. I think it's in the annual. But yeah, this has an interesting cliffhanger that you guys definitely want to read, to check out. We also have the Batgirl annual, the second Batgirl annual. So this actually sees her brother, James Gordon Jr. returning, and we get some nice flashbacks to the New 52, actually. Particularly the one particular panel is a direct reference from the issue number 0. Yeah, you get to see all this stuff with her and her father, which is pretty cool. Visiting her brother. And then, yeah, we get a direct reference to issue number 0. Yeah, here. This is the actual costume she wore when she first made the costume in the New 52 continuity. And obviously this book continues on from this is the New 52 continuity of Barbara, because she does get this costume, New 52. So it's an interesting story about her and her brother, and we don't get to see... we haven't actually seen too much of her brother in Batgirl's book. I think he showed up in Suicide Squad, because there's a little editorial note for Suicide Squad in this, when he mentions that he's tried to be good or something. But it's nice to see him back. He's an interesting Batman villain, to say the least. I know he was one of the major villains for one of the best Dick Grayson Batman stories, which is The Black Mirror, which is another book you guys should definitely check out if you haven't. Next up, guys, we have the Nightwing Annual. So the Nightwing Annual, this is the first Nightwing Annual, and it's basically dealing with the aftermath of his most recent story, The Bleeding Edge, which, again, I was talking about, heavily featured Batgirl. And, of course, she is featured here, kind of scanning to see if he's still infected, and it feels like their relationship is going pretty interestingly as well, talking about how Barbara is afraid of the dark web, and basically is able to give Nightwing a bunch of crazy new tech in this issue. I don't know how she got it. It's not really explained. It's normally like Batman or pays for all their tech and all their gadgets, so it'll be interesting. It's nice to see the 2 characters popping up in each other's books again. We got to see a bit of it in the New 52, not too much, and of course when Dick went off to his Grayson side, Barbara thought he was dead, so we didn't get to see them together. But there was always that little tease in the, I think it was the it was the Batgirl annual, of him being together, the tease of it. So some interesting stuff going on there. The Nightwing... I mean, yes, I was happy that Batgirl showed up, but I still miss the Tim Seeley Nightwing stuff from the early, from the beginning of this run for Rebirth. I don't know, like, I was really excited for it, and when they were doing the whole Bloodhaven stuff and redoing, the way they redesigned Blockbuster and stuff, now doing it kind of lulled for a bit. I didn't mind the Bleeding Edge, mostly because it featured Batgirl, but I feel like this book is kind of, it's probably why it dropped from a bi-weekly to a monthly title. But hopefully it picks up again soon, especially if they start bringing Batgirl into it more frequently. Although, if they do start showing up in each other's books a lot more, I don't know how that's actually going to affect their stories going forward. Next up is Raven, Daughter of Darkness, number 7. Again, I've mentioned this book every time we do the stream, how amazing it is, how awesome it is. You guys need to go read this. Raven is probably one of the most relatable of all the Titan characters to me, other than obviously Dick Grayson. I think just she's such a realistic and emotional character that people just find her so interesting to relate to. And watching the show as a kid when I was growing up, I mean, I was a bit of an outcast as well. I mean, I guess we all were, but she just spoke for those of us who were different, and I think she just resonates. And having this book written by her creator as well, he goes into her mind and is able to talk about it. And I think the potential of doing a 12-issue miniseries, you do have more content, you do have more freedom to cover more content, but I feel like you can outstretch it a little bit. And I felt maybe as I didn't probably give this one as good of a read as I should have, this particular issue, I think it's gotten to that stage where it's like, okay, Raven's got 7 issues. This is the 7th issue in the series. Maybe they could have wrapped the story up in 6. I don't know, but we'll see where the final 6. It'll be interesting to see, of course, where the final 6 issues of this run go, and whether or not Raven will get another miniseries. I think this book is selling quite well. Be interesting to see her get an ongoing. I am not. This book seems to stand also on its own. Doesn't really seem to tie into Titans, at least from what I've been reading. But hopefully, we do get to see some more Raven solo stuff down the track, because she's just a cool character. And then our final book for this week is, yes, it's the guilty pleasure. It's Sonic the Hedgehog number 8. After so long of, like I said this when I went through the first 4 issues of the book, of the IDW run, after not being able to finish the Archie run, I'm so upset that I had to go like 2-3 years without being able to, Sonic books. And because the book was great, man. I know it was aimed at kids, but it still managed to hit those dark notes on occasion. And I've actually, since, starting to read these new Sonics, I've actually found the panels of the last issues of the Archie book, and how it's Sonic crossing over and to something and talking to Sally that he'll see her on the other side. It's really depressing and sad, because, the Archie characters, whilst they're not really the Archie characters because they appeared in the original cartoon, The Adventures of Sonic and Saddam, they're not going to be seen again. We're never going to see Sally again. We're never going to see Nicole again. And I actually really liked Nicole's character. I think she was Nicole the Lynx. I think she was a really interesting character, and just because of the stupid lawsuit, we're never going to see those characters again, and it's just so upsetting. We do get to, of course, have some new characters, and what's really cool is that, in each of these 8 issues, we're up to issue 8, we do get to see an extra one of the Sonic supporting cast show up in every single issue, so we are getting a lot of fan service very straight on. I mean, issue 1 was who was issue 1? Sonic and Tails was issue 1, Sonic and Amy was issue 2, Sonic and Knuckles was issue 3, Sonic and Blaze was issue 4, Shadow was 5, I think. I can't remember. And then I can't remember them all off the top of my head. But yeah, we have Silver in this issue. No, issue 4 was the new character, and Blaze was issue 5. But now we have this new Silver here, and it's really cool to see a villain that we haven't actually seen for a long time. Who, obviously, if you've read the game, if you've played Sonic Heroes, that you'll know the character straight away. And if you haven't, it's interesting to see this character used in the comic. As far as my knowledge, we haven't actually seen this particular villain used in the comics before. And of course, yes, the Sonic comics are aimed predominantly at children, but if you are a massive fan of Sonic the Hedgehog, you definitely need to be reading the Sonic books. They are really, really, really cool. So that's it for the comics, guys. I hope you enjoyed the discussion. We're going to end this video by going through these cards in the Spellbook Jace. So the Spellbook Jace is a special set of 8 specific cards themed around popular Planeswalker Jace Beleren. They all feature original artwork specifically related to Jace himself. And one of the cards, you do get a special 9th card, which is a foil of one of the 8 cards in the set. So we're going to go through all 9 of these cards, and then we're going to end the live stream there. So first off, it does come, of course, with a Jace. It is Jace Beleren. He is a 3 CMC Planeswalker for 3 loyalty, who you can +2 to let everyone draw a card, -1 to make one person draw a card, and you can neg him to put target player puts the top 20 cards from their top of their library into their graveyard. Now, obviously, being able to +2 to draw everyone card is a nice group hug card, and yes, his ult is scary, but I mean, there are better Jaces, but of course, there are definitely worse Jaces. We have the Mighty Gifts Unforgiven. Now, to my knowledge, I've been told this card is actually banned in Commander, which is the main format I play. So this card is probably just going to sit in my binder. So it is a 4 CMC instant that lets you search your library for up to 4 cards with different names and reveal them. Target opponent chooses 2 of them, put them in your hand. You put them in your hand and you mill, put the chosen cards into the graveyard, and you get the other ones. Yeah, it could be pretty broken in Commander, as you can go 2 card infinites with this card. We have the Blue Elemental Blast, which is a 1-cost instant, lets you counter target red spell or just target red permanent. The classic red-blue hate. And it would be really cool to see if they do these collections for all the Planeswalkers, because I'd love to get a Challenger one of these. We have the Threads of Disloyalty. It is a 3 CMC enchantment. To enchant a creature with converted mana cost 2 or less, and you control it. Which is interesting. I think there are better control spells. Bolas has a pretty interesting one. We have the Negate, which is a 2 CMC counter target non-creature spell. Of course, this card has been reprinted multiple times. And then we have the legendary Counterspell, 2 CMC, counter target spell. Obviously better than the Negate. We have the mighty Mystical Tutor. So it is a 1 CMC instant to search your library for an instant or sorcery card. Reveal it, shuffle your library, put it on the top. Very interesting card there. Of course, the legendary Brainstorm with Jace. Draw 3 cards, then put 2 cards from your hand on the top of your library. And the foil I got for mine was Negate. Bit of an upset that I didn't get like a Brainstorm or a Mystical Tutor, or even Jace himself. I think this is the least valuable foil, but still, it's still nice. These are definitely worth buying, guys, if you do play blue, and you can get them for a good price, as most of these cards are pretty cool. I know Brainstorm, Mystical Tutor, and Negate, which are the main reasons why Brainstorm, Counterspell, and Mystical Tutor are reprinted in are relatively cheap cards to get your hand on. I'm not too sure about Mystical Tutor, but the artwork with Jace on them does look really nice. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching the stream. I do apologize that it's a bit late, and I will be trying to get that Echo deck profile up for you guys this week, and I will have my Nicol Bolas deck profile coming up later in a couple of weeks. The deck is pretty much finished, just missing about 10 to 20 cards, so hopefully we can get a bunch of those and do a deck profile for you guys really, really soon. Till then, guys, make sure you guys check out my channel, other videos. There's some really cool comic videos up there if you want to see some more comic stuff. Card game wise, obviously there's a ton, but anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you for my next stream.